Want to know how to make professional looking videos on a budget, the tool that helps me clarify my business vision, as well as some things to consider as you create your course to help you stand out? Well, then stay tuned because we'll be covering that and more on today's show. Welcome to the Recognized Expert Show. I'm Demelza and I'm here to help you go from the unheard course creator to the recognized expert in your space. So if you're an online course creator, want to increase your impact, influence, and income, you are in the right place. Let's get started. Hey, if you're watching this live, then please hit the like button and say hi in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, then it would still be nice to hear from you too. I will be in the comments as well to interact with you while we're live, so I would love to see you in there. Now, before we dive into today's interview, here is this week's top tip. One of the things that I think makes a big difference to how good you look on camera is the camera angle itself, because if you are using a very low camera angle, such as if you're recording on your laptop and you're looking down at the camera, it actually looks, the camera's looking up at you and it emphasizes any double chin that you might have, or even if you don't have it, it will give you one. And also your student is looking up at you and looking up your nose if you like, and that's not the most flattering view either. So I would recommend raising your laptop up higher, stack some books underneath or something along those lines so that the camera is eye level and giving you the best angle. I would also encourage you not to have it too high because again, it doesn't really help with connecting with your student. So if it's much higher, such as in this case, my webcam is much higher than I am, so I would be looking up, and again, that's not a very good view either. So I would just look at maybe having the camera at eye level or just slightly above, but not too high, and that will give you the best angle to make you look good, to make your student feel comfortable watching you and interacting with you in some way, because it's almost like you're having coffee with them over the screen, and it's going to make the experience that much nicer. Now, today's interview is with Tincuta, who is a course creator with a background in nutrition and teaching, and we're going to be covering 3 key areas course creators should remember when creating a course. Hey Tini, thank you so much for joining us today. I would love for you to go ahead and share with us a little bit about your backstory and how you got into doing what you're doing.
Hey, it's good to be here. I started by being a nutritionist and I was creating meal plans for people, and that was taking up a lot of my time. So what I decided to do, well, I got this cool idea to create a course to teach people how to create their own meal plans. And I started to talk myself out of it because I said, oh my God, I can't, if I create a course, it has to be amazing and it has to stand out in the crowd and it has to really teach people something valuable. And I wasn't that confident in myself that I could pull it off. So I postponed it for about 6 months. And after those 6 months, I actually made a decision. I was full on and I started creating the course. It took me 10 days to put everything together, and now that's actually my highest rated course. It has almost 1,700 students in it, and it has freed up all of my time. And since then, I actually moved to helping experts structure unique and fresh courses that are not overwhelming and that allow people to see results. Because at the end of the day, the course content and people seeing results is what matters, not the amount of sales that we make.
Exactly. People are looking for transformation. That's why they're coming to you. And your course being a unique way of being able to present that is going to attract the ideal person, isn't it? So go ahead and share with us a little bit about how we can accomplish this.
All right, so I'm going to touch upon 3 things and the bonus.
Okay.
And the first one is letting people get to know who we really are. And that means quirks and everything. I mean, for instance, this is something that I don't say often, but I do sweat and I use my hand to do this. And sometimes that's exactly what attracts people to us, being ourselves and showcasing that and being okay with having fun and exploring different aspects of creating a course. It's not just putting the information together. It's also about just being relaxed, being ourselves, and conveying that energy through the screen, through the words that we say and the way that we say the words that we say.
And also just infusing our personality into the course as well, and our experience, because that's what separates it from everybody else's course out there on the same topic. I think exactly what you're saying is the uniqueness that is you is going to make a huge difference to the impact it has on the students that take your course.
Yeah, because most often people actually buy courses from people that I know, and they've been watching us. We are not always aware that they're watching us, because most people who, it's not the people who are the most engaged that end up buying from us. I think the percentage is higher for the people who don't comment, who don't say anything, but just decide to work with us and to buy our courses.
Yes, watch out for those lurkers. But yeah, exactly. I mean, I have to admit that I'm not necessarily the best at engaging in different groups in terms of maybe if I'm interested in their course, I will look and I will watch and I will absorb, and then I will make a decision to buy or not. I won't necessarily have any personal contact or interaction. And I think there's a lot of people in that category who will be looking and watching and just observing what we're doing and putting out there. And while it may seem frustrating to us because we're not seeing that interaction, we're not getting that immediate feedback, people are actually they are paying attention and just being consistent with putting yourself out there, I think is really important.
Yeah, it's just like when we're doing lives, for instance. You don't just go there and imagine that no one is watching you. You imagine that the people who are watching you, they're really excited. So, hey guys, I'm here live with you and I'm bringing this to you. So you pretend, and it's even more fun to pretend that people are engaging. And the thing is that when you do that, they will naturally become engaged. So
Yeah.
it goes both ways.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think there's a quote, and I hope I don't get it totally wrong, but the idea that if, as a leader, which you are, if you're in the situation of creating a course and being the teacher in this context, you're the leader, but the followers aren't going to be more excited than you. So if you're not that excited about your stuff, then your followers aren't going to be that excited about it either.
True.
So what do you recommend moving forward on that?
So the second thing that I wanted to mention is owning our expertise. And this links to the previous one, because if we want to have fun, we also want to own the things that we're doing, knowing that we are an expert in our field. So that's one thing that I want, like in between the brackets, you are good at being you, and you are good at your life experience. So you have your life experience. You don't have to study a lot to get that life experience. So if you've gone through a process, through a transformation, you can teach that in your course, and you're teaching your own life experience using the examples that you have. And that's going to make the course relatable. And in owning our expertise, we also want to keep things simple, and we don't want to do all the things. So we're good at some things, we're not that good at others. For instance, some people don't like technology, they don't like to do that on their own. So if there are people out there who can help you on your path, go ahead and ask for help, because it's going to save you time and energy, and you can just focus on what you're good at and sharing that expertise that you have and transforming people's lives.
Exactly. And I think also it saves a huge amount of time and gets your resource, your expertise into the hands of those who need it sooner. Because if you're trying to figure out all the tech stuff and whatever it might be, that's taking up all your time instead of getting what you have out into the world to be able to benefit and help people get that transformation. So I totally agree. If you struggle in a certain area or you just don't feel like you want to learn all the tech stuff, hand it over to someone who does that. They'll get it done much quicker. They'll probably do it much better. And you're getting your course out there, helping people much faster.
Yeah, definitely. That's absolutely true. And one other thing that I encourage people to do, and it's based on my personal experience, is to start putting the course together and start creating it, because we're learning better when we are actually implementing. So it's different, because when we're stuck in our mind and we create the course in our mind and we start upgrading it, okay, I must take this out, I need to include this, it's different, and it's not always as it is in real life, because in real life you get real feedback and you're able to implement it based on that.
I agree. Actually, some of my courses, I think it's better to get it done. Done is better than perfect, especially when you're first getting started. It's a case of putting it out there and testing the ideas, maybe doing a beta launch if you're happy to do a beta launch, but if not, just do the course and then put it out there and see what the feedback is, and then adjust and tweak it, and then put out the more professional version, if you like. Because at that point, you know what's resonating with people and how they're responding to your material. Where do you need to focus more? What are they not interested in? All of these kind of things. You got to actually put it out there to actually find out that information.
Yeah, because we want to give everything that we know. And that's not what makes a course unique.
Right. No. And also it doesn't help our students either, because that's just too overwhelming. What they want is the absolute minimum to accomplish their goal. They don't need all the extra stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, great feedback. So what's next?
Okay, the third thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing is actually based on my experience so far. And it's building meaningful connections with people and not trying to go strike up conversations and say, hey, I liked that you commented on my post. If that doesn't come from a place of curiosity and really wanting to connect with that person, it's going to show up. People are going to see that. And we're all bombarded with strategies, and people get those strategies. There are freebies out there, and I'm not saying that they're bad, but we also want to go back to being ourselves. How do we connect with people? How do we strike up conversations? And the biggest thing that can help someone create a meaningful conversation and connection is being curious, genuinely curious about what the other person has going on, without any hidden meanings, goals, whatever. Kind of like what we do here. So we connected a few years back. I can't even remember, because it feels like we've known each other for our entire lives.
I know.
And now we're here doing this interview, and we had no idea that we will get here. But it was a genuine curiosity. I wanted to see more and watch you do your thing. And I was learning from you as well.
Right. And, you supported me on that, on the webinars, was, as I remember it, was you showed up for more than one webinar to support me in that. And that was just really encouraging for me. I didn't know who you were. But obviously you were, learning and wanting to gain experience from what I was doing. And it was an encouragement to me that you were showing up and participating. And a friendship started. And you never know what kind of connections you're going to make just by establishing a connection, an initial connection, where that's going to lead in the future in terms of friendships, possibilities for your business, and even just to help one another and encourage one another, even if it's right for that moment, and then it's not for an ongoing thing, just making an impact in the world in some small way.
Yep. Because that's how we help people. I mean, we all say that we want to help people, but are we also willing to offer that help without expecting anything in return? And that's when reciprocity comes in. So you receive more than you give, because that's how it works.
Yep. Great. And you said you had a bonus as well?
Yes. The bonus is actually the ingredients that make a course unique, non-overwhelming, and highly rated. And a highly rated course means a course that people go through, they learn, they implement, they see results. And there are a few ingredients. We talked about a few of these. So first of all, it's you, bringing you to the table, your energy, getting yourself excited before you record a course, because you talked about this on camera in one of your episodes, that you need to bring your energy a bit higher, instead of just
yeah.
So bringing that excitement in, because you have a message to share, get yourself excited about that and bring yourself to the course. Sprinkle inspiration. This is the second ingredient. I don't know how many there are. So the second ingredient is inspiration. People are not just looking for information, they're also looking to be inspired and motivated. So show them that they can do this. And I know that we sometimes talk about the difference between simple and easy. Well, this is not something that I'm I don't know. I don't usually agree with it. Language is a tool for me. And when you make that distinction between simple and easy, it means that you're telling people that it's not easy. But tell them it's easy because everyone gets to choose that it's easy. So we always have that choice, and that's where inspiration comes from. So sprinkle a bit of inspiration throughout your course. And then we've got clarity. So the third ingredient, clarity. You being clear on what it is that you're sharing with people is what's going to make the people not feel overwhelmed and be clear as well. So take your time, be present, be here, and convey your message and convey what you have to share. And then you go into the information bit.
Okay.
So you teach. The course has to have information as well.
Yeah.
And you attach examples to that information. And I'm going to explain this a little bit. When you add examples, pick a niche. I'm not a fan of niches, of niching down, but you pick an audience that you can use to help you get or come up with relatable examples. So not just examples from everywhere, just examples from something that people can relate to or something that happened. So if you're doing an event, for instance, how can you use that event, that story of that event, to make it into an example? Because people go to events all the time. So you can use day-to-day life to come up with examples. And then a course also has to have action steps. People need to know what to do next, and it doesn't always have to be something that takes a long time. It can simply be a question that helps them think differently about things.
Yeah, I think that's really important. The call to action at the end of your lessons and that at the end of your entire course, I think is super important because they're not just wanting information. You know, we've got information everywhere. What they want is a transformation, and that's only going to happen if they take action on what you were telling them to do. And it seems silly and, you know, oversimplified in some ways to basically tell them what to do at the end after you've explained it, but they need that. They need to know exactly what is my next step. So now you told me all this, what do I do now? But I totally agree. That's a really great framework. And I think it's really important to apply to our courses, to infuse ourselves into that, our energy, our uniqueness, and in that process that you outlined for us, that's great. So how can people find out more about you and what you are offering as well?
Okay, so I'm an expert at helping people structure their unique courses. That's my superpower, yeah. And I created a community where we have fun, and it's called Digital Course Creation Fellowship. It has a Lord of the Rings theme to it. And it's fun. We learn together, we support each other, and we're creating a library of courses that change people's lives. And we change the world one course at a time.
Okay, so what did you think of that interview? I think it was a good reminder to own what makes us unique and be curious about the people that you're connecting with. And also to remember that people are watching you, even if they're not engaging. And actually, it's kind of funny, like she said, it's often the lurkers, the people that don't comment, that don't interact, that will actually buy. So I encourage you not to give up if things seem quiet. Just keep going. There are people watching you and what you're doing. So just be consistent and keep putting content, keep supporting people. And I'm sure that you will see results from that. I think another great point was to take action and just adjust as you go, because it's as you take action and implement that you figure out what works. And this is so true in terms of my journey. Again, I took action, I created a course, figured it didn't work, made some adjustments and continued going. And I think sometimes we can get discouraged if something isn't working or something feels like a failure. But what's really happening is just a case of you've learned from that experience and now you know what doesn't work. And now you're going to be closer to finding what does work. And I just encourage you to take that action, because if you don't take that action, you're not going to find out what it is that is actually going to work. So the question for this week is from Emmanuel, and he asks, how do we get our videos to look professional even on a budget? Now, I think one of the really important things to remember is that while fancy equipment is great and it can definitely make your videos look better, you can still create quality videos with what you have. So first off, I would just use your phone. If you've got a phone that takes video, then go ahead and use that, because that takes pretty good video and will definitely give you good enough quality. Another thing to think about is your lighting. If you don't have any money to invest in lights, then use natural light. Go and sit in front of a window, and that will really help. I would encourage you to invest in a microphone, because you really want to have good audio for your videos, and that's really going to boost the quality. So I would encourage you to get a microphone. It does not have to cost a lot, and it depends on what type of videos you're going to do, what type of microphone you want to get. So if you are curious about that, then I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel, where you'll find information on how to decide which is the best microphone for you. But that is possibly one of the areas that I would recommend going ahead and making an investment. So I would encourage you to choose a camera angle that makes you look good. This would typically be having the camera at eye level or just slightly above. Certainly don't look down at the camera. I think that's a terrible angle for you and for your students. I would also encourage you to face the light. This is going to give you the best lighting on you. So face the light, whether that's natural light or studio light. You can either face directly and have it as even light on you, or just have it off to the side with a bit of shadow on the side like I've got here. Either way is fine, and that's going to help you to look so much better on camera. And also think about what's in your background, because your audience is seeing what's out there, and they're going to be taking in that messaging. If it's a cluttered, messy background, they're going to notice that, and they're going to look at your videos as amateur. If it's tidy and it looks nice, and preferably it backs up the message of your content, then that's all going to come together and really enhance the messaging, but also just make things look that much more quality. And then when it comes to sound, think about what's in your environment. What is making noises? If you can turn off fans or AC, or shut the door to keep the refrigerator noise quiet. All of those kind of things can really help to improve the quality of your video. So just doing those things will help improve your videos dramatically. But if you have any other questions, then feel free to look up on YouTube, and I've got several videos on there which will help you as well. Now, as course creators, there's a lot that makes our business run effectively, so I like to recommend some of my favorite things as a course creator business owner. Now, today's recommendation is the book Expert Secrets. Now, seriously, as a course creator, this book is fantastic. It pretty much sets you up for success as a course creator. So in it, you will learn how to find your voice and develop your frameworks. Now, this is really essential in being able to stand out and differentiate yourself from everyone else that's teaching your topic. You will also learn how to craft your offer in a way that's compelling to your audience and get some rallying behind you and your cause, whatever that might be. And then you'll learn how to craft a presentation that will inspire your audience and increase conversions of your offer. So all in all, this book has helped me, it's really given me clarity and helped me dial in the direction that I'm taking in my business. So if you're getting started, I encourage you to read this so that you don't waste time trying to figure it out on your own. And if you're a more seasoned course creator, I actually believe this book will help you gain even more clarity, especially as it relates to communicating your offers. And you can actually get this book for free plus shipping. So I will drop a link in the show notes for you to get access to that. Okay, so before I wrap up, let's do a quick recap. Today's tip was to keep your camera eye level in order to look your best and provide the best experience for your audience. You heard from Tincuta, another course creator, with some great points on what to consider as you create your course. I also answered Emmanuel's question on how do we get our videos to look professional even on a budget. And my recommended book this week is Expert Secrets, and you can find a link to get this book for free plus shipping in the description of the YouTube version of this show. And to wrap this up, the action step I encourage you to take is to write down what it is that makes you and your course different. So how do you do things differently from other people? What do you stand for or against? What experiences have you had that maybe others may not have had? And what is your unique framework for your course? And a quick reminder on frameworks, I encourage you to get that book on Expert Secrets because it will help you to define that. Okay, next week I will be interviewing Nathan and Ben on the topic of course piracy, which is not actually something I had personally given much thought to before, but I have come to realize it's actually a bigger deal than I thought. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss that. Thank you for tuning into the Recognized Expert Show, and for access to any of the resources mentioned in this episode, be sure to check out the show notes on the YouTube version of the show, which can be found at youtube.com/Demelza Marie. And if you found this show helpful, I would love for you to share it with others who may also find it helpful, and I will